Well, happy Sunday to you. How has your Sunday been so far? Welcome to the show. Got a lot to talk about today. Want some questions from you guys, but there is something that Michelle Smith's in the house, and Courtney, and Rachel, and Hardy, and Joan. We shall wait for more people to log in. While we do that, I'm having some more coffee. I would never ever, do you remember that? I'd never bow to advertisers. I will talk about Crockett Coffee in a minute. But how are you? How was your Saturday? It's been kind of a packed one for me. I always find that I have to be doing something creative or learning something. And try not to get sucked into the quagmire that is social media. Courtney, all right, I'm going to give you some applause, Courtney, for flattering me. I don't care. I'll take the flattering. I will take the flattering. More coffee as people log on. I have a very interesting video to show you. And I'm going to wait a little bit to put it up. Hey, Andy, I am glad you enjoy my streams. By the way, have you noticed? Hold on, I've got to come and put this chair down a little bit. I feel a little bit high. There you go. Have you noticed how the left is trying to make Gavin Newsom a thing? Like, he's the worst mayor of LA. And then he's probably the worst governor of California, which is saying a lot. And now they're trying to make him a thing. He's never going to be a thing. Ron DeSantis systematically dismantled him. And they think he's going to live with J.D. Vance. Come on now. Come on now. It's not going to happen. And they're doing this whole let's do this. The left has no sense of humor, right? They cannot meme. Like literally they cannot meme. And they're so trying to make it happen. By the way, if you're on X, please go and follow my friend there, Michelle Smith. She is amazing. She's heading up the Ken Paxton Senate campaign, and it's quite delightful watching her smash the crap out of rhinos and Democrats, but rhinos on a daily basis. So, cheers, Michelle. Also one of the most wonderful people you will ever meet. All right. So I'm going to wait a little bit until we get some more on before I talk a little bit about Crockett Coffee. I don't have to talk about them a lot, but I want to promote this company because they're amazing. But something interesting is happening. And I want to reference the UK again. Because let's do like Wayne's World. Let's just cast your mind back to COVID. And I was having a long conversation with a friend of mine about this. All right, let me just take it back a little bit. We were talking about, as I often do on this show, talking about people getting involved. And there was an interaction this morning on X, which they think they rattle me. I've heard it all before, right? Like, yeah, what's going on with your career? They don't think that I don't have other things going on, that maybe there are movies that I don't want to do. I've said this over and over and over again. But they're always like, well, what's going on in your career? And they're always anons. They're almost to a fault anons. And, I was going to do what Eric July said and monetize the haters. And then they start they think they're going to press your buttons by talking about your family and all this. And it just doesn't affect me, right? It just, I know that they're a bunch of losers, right? And regardless, this is the game you're in, right? You're out there. But we were talking about having skin in the game and about standing up for what is right. And I said to him, as I said to you guys, I think on Friday, I remember Jordan Peterson talking about how everyone thinks that they'd be against the Nazis when the truth is they would actually side with the Nazis if their own well-being was threatened. And I said, well, I actually did stand up, because I remember when all the COVID thing was going down, I thought that that was a moment, right, where you chose. You were like, either you're going to be complicit and go with it, or do you really have what it takes? Do you really have the balls to lose everything? And as you guys know, you can go and look, just type in Daily Mail Matthew Marsden, or The Sun Matthew Marsden, or The Mirror Matthew Marsden, or whatever you want to do. And I was massively attacked throughout COVID for being one of the very few actors, certainly, that stood up against COVID, against the tyrannical COVID restrictions. And you stand up to be counted, right? That's what you do. You stand up to be counted. When the rubber hits the road, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that was a moment for me where I'm like, all right, I've got to make a decision now. What kind of a man am I? And there's a lot of people that made that decision. A lot of people walked away from their work. People in the army, in the military, police officers said, I'm not doing this. Doctors said, I'm not doing this. And they turned and walked away. At that point, it's really important to remember how bad it was then. And I got attacked. You're not a doctor. What do you know, stupid? Oh, Matt Marsden. Who's Matt Marsden? Like, what degree do you have in medicine? I'm like, I don't have a degree in medicine. I just have common sense, right? I have common sense that you cannot, like, wear a mask into a restaurant, walk through the restaurant, and then sit down, take your mask off and eat. I'm not dumb. And Pat spoke about this yesterday, on Friday, right? We started talking about the compliance, that people comply because they don't want to be outside of the group of sheep. And it's easy to forget what was at risk back then because we truly didn't know what was going to happen. And I told my wife, listen, I might be going away for some time. You know, they might come and do something, but I have to do this. And people are back in hindsight like it was nothing. But if you remember back then, it really was something. And they tried to shame me. And they tried, as you know, I turned down work because I wouldn't take the vaccine. Why am I bringing this up? Because my friend was talking about, like, how do you deal with this? And this is what I said, guys. I said, I'm dealing with it so you don't have to. Don't put your name out there. Now, I'm very anti-anons. I am. I'm sorry, guys, I am. I think that if you're going to say something to me, be willing to say it to my face and be willing to reap the consequences of it. And I've said this before, we are less of a society because you can't punch someone in the mouth when they insult you anymore. It hasn't made society better that we're like more civil. It hasn't, because the violent people, the vile people still do what they do. And we're hamstrung. It was much better when someone was like, I probably shouldn't say that to them because I'll get this shit slapped out of me. And unfortunately, the world thinks that they're somehow above this. They're not above this. You're not above it. I'm telling you right now, like, someone insults your family, your wife, and every man that is watching this knows what I'm saying is the truth. Right? It doesn't mean that you just go ahead and you behave in an irresponsible manner, but there's something to defending your honor. There's something about consequences and about the fact that back in the day, if you flapped your gums the way they do, on social media, you'd have had the shit kicked out of you. And we're less of a society because that can't happen anymore. I hate to say it, but that is the truth. So why am I saying this? Because we're involved in asymmetrical warfare right now. The left can do whatever they want. The radical Islamists can do whatever they want, and we can't. I told you guys this before. When Trump went into Iraq and Afghanistan, he said, guys, the gloves are off. Go and do what you've got to do. And it was over very quickly. They destroyed ISIS in a matter of, was it weeks? And they could do it a lot quicker if they lifted even more restrictions. We still operate as a military with trying to limit civilian casualties. So why am I saying all this? Well, firstly, I want you guys to know that when I respond to these people and I use harsh language, I'm not emotional. It's not emotional for me. They don't move the needle with me emotionally. I think that's what frustrates them, right? They don't. They're emotional. I'm not emotional. Secondly, support the people that are out there fighting for you, because it's the real consequences for standing up and being counted. So support them. And I'm just talking about me. I'm talking about everybody out there that you look at and who's really fighting. And pick your battles as well. Like I said to my buddy, I was like, don't you say anything, right? Because that could affect you in this weird world. But I'm out there. Now, the idea is have engagement and promote those that are out there fighting the fight. So I'm just saying, look at the people. Like with this channel, you can re-up your memberships, you can super chat, you can share it with other people. You can say, hey, look at what Matt Marsden's doing now. Look at what, Trevor Colt's doing right now. Look at this, look at that. And it's very easy for me to lean into scandalous stuff, and I'm not going to do it. I'm going to keep focusing on what is important. Talking of which, we're in a situation right now, and this is linked to what I was saying. I was coming out and telling people maybe 2 years ago. It was actually longer than that, that I was warning about the effects of radical Islam. That's when I started studying it in 2001, after September 11th. I told you guys that I started studying it. So I was always, I know that faith very well. Of course, some of it's like dulled in my mind because, I'm focusing on Jesus, but I still know the key things that undermine that faith. And I'm very respectful of peaceful Muslims because they're peaceful Muslims, and that they can, in the same way I don't go out and criticize Mormons or, you've heard me talk to Protestants. I'm like, listen, I'm not here to fight with you. I'm here so you understand what we really believe as Catholics. And by the way, if you looked on X today, I went off on the Catholic Church, not necessarily the Catholic Church as such, but certain churches, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I was talking about this many, many years ago, and I spoke a couple of times to people in my family about what is going on in the UK with the migrants. It's really not a lot of fun being the person that sees it when other people either can't see it or are unwilling to see it, because you become I don't say pariah. That's a little bit of a strong word. It's like, oh, here we go. Especially if you really love the people that are going to be affected by what is going on. And I felt like that about COVID because I didn't want my family to take the vaccines. They all took the vaccines. My wife's family in Malta had to take the vaccines. I'm going to tell you guys just very quickly, yesterday I went to pick up some paint. And I started talking to the guy there, Hispanic guy. As I've told you guys over and over and over, legal Hispanics absolutely hate this illegal immigration. He was telling me how he was really pissed off at the illegal immigration. Listen to what he told me. He said, because I brought up the vaccine, I said, it's the same, we were getting into the weeds, right? I always like to make a connection with people in stores and talk to them and humanize them, because a lot of people just treat them like slaves. So I like to engage and ask them about their family. And he said, I took the vaccine and I was rushed to hospital 20 minutes later. He said, I have heart problems now. If you go back on my tweets, you'll see I said those of us that are standing up for the freedom to take a vaccine or not to take it are doing it for you as well. All the haters. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking, I'm like, I didn't take the vaccine. I don't have that poison in my veins. But I'm fighting for you. I don't want you to be hurt. And again, it was that like herd mentality, right? Everyone's got to do it. You're evil if you don't do it. Well, this guy told me that he regrets it. And that is utterly heartbreaking for me. I don't get any joy out of it. Don't get me wrong. It's really difficult when you see doctors coming on and they're like, the vaccine is still safe and effective. It's really, really difficult to stay, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, kind to them. Okay? So I sat there and I'm like, I went out and I spoke out about this so that that guy wouldn't take it. And he took it. And he has heart problems. He said to me, I have heart problems from the vaccine. I had the vaccine. I was rushed to hospital 20, 30 minutes later. And I've had problems ever since. I don't think, I was right. It's not a victory. If you care about people, that's not a victory. Why am I saying all this? Talking about immigration in the UK and the fact that there is going to be violence. I don't get any joy out of that. You guys know I'm right? You know I'm right. You know it's coming. Everybody knows it's coming, but no one will talk about it. Well, and then I'm told, what do you know? It's the best ones where they're like, you're not even there, man. You're not even in the UK. What do you know? I'm like, that's right. I'm a complete bubble. Like, my son isn't there. My mom isn't there. My sister isn't there. My cousins aren't there. My entire family, bar me, are in the UK. You think I don't know? All the people that I grew up with are in the UK or Australia, actually. So I'm going to share something with you that I saw yesterday. There's a YouTuber called Connor Tomlinson. And I saw this yesterday, and it really does show that there is a change in the mentality of what's going on over there. Now, I'm going to share this because I just want you to listen to what he has to say. He's interviewing a guy who is a former British Army colonel, right? And this guy headed the international anti-terrorism portion of Cobra, right? Now, this is a big deal. This is a very, very, very big deal. So I'm going to play this for you right now. You ready?
I think for those, especially among my generation, who are more concerned with domestic questions of identity and belonging than the economy or foreign policy, the Israel issue being the omnicorce for the left, we can look at it through the lens of...
Oh, by the way, sorry, I just wanted to stop this. I don't know why that's... Let me just play this through, mute it and play it through. The reason why I wanted to stop right there was I think that it is... you cannot underestimate how bad it is right now for especially young white males in the UK. How they feel like they have no identity. They want to belong. They've been told over and over that they are stupid, that they are delusional because they're seeing this two-tier system and it's not really real, right? It's a complete gaslighting, like exactly what was going on under COVID, when they'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, there are no deaths. Like, nobody's legs are shaking. Nobody's getting these like Bell's palsy. That's in your head, right? That's totally in your head. It's the same thing. Only this is the second iteration of this, right? Because you had the COVID and what happened then, which was massively detrimental, not only to the society, the people's businesses, and how they were treated. They were dehumanized. If you wanted to say anything like COVID is affecting me in the sense that I want to be able to go to work, I've got to provide for my family, and I don't have to take a jab, they would like berate you. And this is the same thing for young white males, especially. And especially when they're like, hang on a second, I want to protect my women. We want to protect our women. And they've been told you're a thug for wanting to do that. It's massive gaslighting. So listen to this.
Lots of those protesters who are pro-Hamas would like to repeat October 7th in our country. So even if Israel seems like a distant land to you, it's still a concern that it's happening here. But considering they get these intelligence briefings and don't adjust on the fly, it sounds like a similar phenomenon that Dominic Cummings is describing, where politicians take on a sort of superposition personality where they have to tell themselves polite ideological fictions to maintain the illusion of control. And this is accelerated by the fact they feel in a very precarious position because of the culturally and ethnically gerrymandered populace they preside over, and have to rely on groups like Muslim enclaves in our major cities as reliable voters. So they themselves feel under threat. Is that the reason you think that they can't adjust to these problems?
This is really important. Listen.
Do you think that if there's not a political off-ramp to the domestic problems we face, do you agree with Professor David Betts's warnings that if there is no democratic solution, these things could build to civil unrest between the discontented natives who feel left behind
Listen
and
to this now. I've already said
immigrant
that there's
client groups who
right?
clash with them on ethnic lines.
Yeah, I've had that fear and concern for a very long time, because I know, I mean, I would hate to be right on this, but I believe that I know that there is no political solution to the situation Britain faces today. And when I say there's no solution, I don't mean there actually isn't a solution, but there's no solution that any of our politicians are going to take, because for the reasons I mentioned before, they're afraid of doing anything significant that will cause upset among the, particularly their supporters, but the whole of the community as well. They're really afraid of that. And so they're not going to find a solution to this problem, not going to find a solution to illegal mass immigration into our country. They've made little effort to do so now. And I don't anticipate they will do so in the future. And the people in the country whose lives are being so dramatically affected by it, whether it be in Epping, where you've got an illegal immigrant settlement centre, for the want of a better word, in a hotel close to a school, and where there's certainly been allegations of sexual abuse against school children in Epping, and we've seen a degree of civil discontent there. and there are many other ways in which our community is being affected. For example, by huge pressure on school places, on hospitals, on
Who else has been
NHS
saying
doctors, on civic services of all sorts, by a flood of both legal and illegal immigration. There's only so much I think the people can take of that. And they've been very, very quiet up until now. The people in the UK have not really raised their voices against this, or in a very limited way only. But the more it develops, and it is going to develop more and more, the more unrest we're going to see. And they have no option. And I'm not encouraging and I'm not kind of supporting this, but I think the people will feel they have no option other than to take action into their own hands rather than rely on political leaders who are doing nothing in their eyes. So yeah, I think there's every likelihood. I don't know what the time frame is, but I would go far as to predict not just civil unrest, but civil war in the UK in the coming years, if this situation continues, which I believe it will.
This guy is an expert in counterterrorism. He's an expert. He's a soldier. He's a patriot. What have I been saying on this channel? You know, again, I just consider myself to be a sensible person that is not delusional and that sees things for the way they are. When I came back to my faith, I did not want to come back to Catholicism. I didn't want to do it. My issue was I had to follow the truth wherever it took me. You have to be brave enough to do that in life. Otherwise, you will come to the wrong conclusions about things. You will ultimately be deceiving yourself. So as much as I don't want to believe that there's going to be civil unrest in the UK, I don't want that, because that shatters an image of the UK. Right? It shatters, I guess the romantic view I have of the country that I came from. Because time stood still for me when I left it in 2001. It was wonderful. Sorry, I got a waking baby, if you can hear that in the background. But I don't want to think that it's got that far, but the truth is, it has. And as a dad and as a man, you have to prepare for these things, right? Like you can't delude yourself. You have to really say, okay, in the event that this is going to happen, what do I do? What happens? Is my son at risk? Is my mum at risk? Is my sister at risk? Are my nieces and nephews, my brother-in-law, are they at risk? And the people that have said this for years, they're normally, the majority of them are the same people that were arguing against the COVID vaccine, because it's to do with freedom, and it's to do with not sitting there taking your soma, getting drugged up and watching the television and believing everything that they tell you. And the problem with that is critical thinkers are dangerous to the authorities, because you ask questions and they don't want the questions asked. And you've seen it, like I said, if you go and watch Konstantin Kissin's channel, where, I mean, it's just the last three things he's done have been some of the best journalism I've seen in years, where they talk about It's funny because there's one instance where his co-host is talking about how everyone's telling them that there's no violence in London, and they're like, I got mugged twice. I got my car broken into. Constantine had your car broken into. There's all these instances of people being assaulted, and they're being told that this didn't happen. This is like super dangerous. Like, this isn't a pretend. This isn't a game. You're dealing with people's lives. When it comes to terrorist attacks, this is one of the main things for me, is that with the people flooding over the border, you've got Trenda Aragua, you've got MS-13, and you've got terrorists from foreign countries coming over. Like, this is not a joke. Like, people are going to die. This is very serious. And the left deals with it. The useful idiots on the left deal with it like it's some kind of a hypothesis, right? That if it doesn't work out, then it's like they're at college and they get an F on their paper, and that's as bad as it gets. It's not like that at all. There is going to be death. And it's completely avoidable. And as he just said, that former British Army colonel, he says the politicians aren't doing their jobs. It is inevitable that there's going to be violence. Some people just go, that can't happen in England. Why? Why can't it happen in England, especially when you're importing people that aren't British? Even if you don't want to, even if you as British people do not want it to descend into chaos and violence, they don't care, because the other people they've brought in, that's their lives. Go and watch American Sniper. This is why they're assaulting women. Because that's their culture. You want it, go take it. Women are less than, they're subhuman anyway. That's the way they look at women. You guys have got to understand this is very serious. And I'm not even talking about what is going on in the USA, which is so massive that we're kind of letting it go, because the same thing's happening over here. It's happening in England as well, Stephen, sorry, I don't know if you saw the earlier parts, but yeah, trigonometry, it's brilliant. This isn't about the color of your skin. I keep saying this over and over and over again. I don't think people understand this. It's not even right now about religion. It is about culture. Now, it just so happens that in those cultures, the prevailing religion is Islam. So you have a problem. Nobody gave a shit when people said the IRA are Catholics and there's a problem with them. It didn't matter. But if you say these people coming in are Muslims and there's a problem with them, oh, you're a racist. What? It is inevitable. And now you've got people going, oh, how many times did I tell you guys, we have to build this community so that more people know, so that more people hear, so that people who might be on the fence, who, they don't really want to believe this, but, and they're turned off by people like Tommy Robinson because they've been told there's a right-wing blah, 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 or Russell Brand or whatever. The more people that are saying it on this platform that have got a lot to lose and not in the political sphere, I think that's why like Joe Rogan and Russell Brand have done so well. They're not into politics. As in, that's not their bread and butter. Russell Brand's a comedian who got into Hollywood. And I'm back. Are you still there? I always wonder if... I mean, why did that go off? Everything just went off in my house, which is really weird. No, I wasn't talking nonstop, Mike. Just let me know that you guys can hear me and see me okay. Yeah, I know. It's weird. Right in the middle of something very important and it gets cut off. You can make your own decisions about that. Why that is. No storms, nothing wrong. I can't tell you, my internet never, ever, ever goes down. And it's happened twice since I've been doing these streams. It's not going on X. It should. It says it should go on X. Yep, there you go. All right. We're back. Back is the incredible Ram Animal, the Incredible D, public enemy number 1. All right, so they tried to stop me. Nat. They don't kill me. Can only make me stronger. And I'm back. So there you go. All right, so as I'm back and you guys are all here, do you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to do a little bit of promotion of my sponsor of the show, Crockett Coffee. And here we go. You know what? You'll notice right now that this says medium roast, and normally I show dark roast because we finished the dark roast today. As I got up, my wife was like finishing it. But I'm going to show you the different kinds of stuff that we can get. We can also get this. This is organic roast, wild frontier blend. And then, as I said before, I haven't tried this myself, but this is mushroom coffee. Have you guys had mushroom coffee? I'm going to be honest. I'm unsure about it. I haven't tried it yet, but I will try it. But what I do know is all the other elements of Crockett Coffee is made by using the finest beans, and it's roasted by a father-son combo. It's really, really good coffee. I mean, genuinely. I think Mike D has ordered some Crockett Coffee. He said he was going to say what it was like. I'm telling you, it's really, really good stuff. And it's from a company that doesn't hate you, right? So go and get your coffee from a company that doesn't hate you. They support veterans. They give 10% of their profits. Their net profits go to Tunnel to Towers. All right, so it supports veterans and their families. What Crockett Coffee is trying to do is the same thing as what I'm trying to do on this channel, is build a community. And they're doing a really great job. It's a company that's owned by Buck Sexton, his brother Mason Sexton, and Clay Travis. And you guys know all those guys. You know Buck. He's a real patriot. He's amazing. And if you go over there to Crockett Coffee and type in Matthew 20, that's Matthew 20, you'll get 20% off the store wide. So if you want to support the channel, they're supporting me, and you want to actually return for your money, because now some people go, well, yeah, why should I be a member? What do I get? What do you give me? I'm like, well, go and get some bloody coffee. Go and get some coffee. Wake up. Get energized with Crockett Coffee. We love the Crockett Coffee. Crockett Coffee is possibly the greatest coffee. Some people say. So go and get your Crockett Coffee. As Mike's spoken about, whether it's good or not, whether he thinks it's good, I know it is good, but I'm wondering if Mike D. Here we go. Oh, you got the beans. And Teresa Warner has it. She says, my son loves it. Oh, yes. Yeah, go get it. It's really good. It is really good. You're supporting a company that doesn't hate you. You know, they are supporting me. They're supporting Tunnel to Tower. What more do you want, right? And they got great cups. You see me drinking from this cup. It's a really good cup. All right. Well, if you're not a coffee person, because Nick Lengel said that he's not a coffee person, this coffee identifies as tea. So go and get your coffee. I mean tea. Anyway. There you go. Crockett Coffee, Matthew 20. The link is down there, and Zephyr normally puts the link up there as well. And who knows, we might start sending it over to the UK, right? Stephen said, did you get to meet Lee Child? I did not, but he's actually from Birmingham in the UK. But yeah, it was great working on Reacher. Even though they should have done a spin-off of Reacher about his dad, because in the books, Jack Reacher says that he's Liberace in comparison to his dad. I'm just saying. So, anyways, all right. Hang on a minute. John B, isn't Hebrew a male teabag? That is such an old joke, but you know, you gotta love that. All right, so yeah, it's difficult being right. You know, it's difficult being right, and I was right about COVID, and I'm right about this. Again, it's not because I'm some kind of like genius or some kind of sage or any of those things. It's just because I approach things looking for the truth. Looking for the truth. I don't believe what the media tells me. I'll go and do a little bit more research. And when I went back to the UK, it was unrecognizable to me. It really was unrecognizable to me. It felt, I went into Birmingham city centre. I didn't like it. It felt very edgy. And it's built up, like it's been built up a lot. But it just felt like there was this kind of undercurrent of violence. And then you see people going off into their pockets, like they'll go into Sutton Coldfield and, you know, these other areas that are nicer, and they live the way that the UK was in the 1990s. But that's not the true situation of what is going on in the UK. Again, as Konstantin Kissin says, people just gave up on reporting crimes because it doesn't matter. Did you see the video of the guy who put a bike with a tracker in outside Scotland Yard? It got nicked, and then when they found, they tracked it to where it was. They told the police, and the police didn't do anything about it. And this is the same thing is going on in California when they said up to $1,000 you can steal. Well, you're still stealing, but you can't report it because it's not technically a crime because you can't get arrested for it. Do you see what I'm saying? These people manipulate the crime statistics. It's like when they, go into that argument about guns with that guy who's like, well, no, what do guns do? Do guns protect people? No, I can't show you how many times that, there are some statistics for this, but I can't show you how many times that people are stopped from committing a crime because they know the other person has a firearm. I can't show you that, but it happens. And you can ask anyone in Texas if they think twice about getting out their car in a road rage incident because they don't want to end up full of holes. So, all right, get your questions in now. We're gonna put it out for questions. If I did see someone trying to figure out how to get a membership, has that person? I could go all the way back, but did you find out how to get a membership? Re-up your membership, please. If you got gifted a membership, let's give you the opportunity right now to go and re-up your membership. Let's do it. Come on. I'm going to call you guys out to do that. Let's build this, right? If you are here and you got gifted a membership, let's re-up it. That's not subscriptions, it's memberships, but we're going to build. We're going to build. So, all right, ask me your questions. I'm going to try and answer as many as I can. We have 10, 15 minutes, depending on how great the questions are. Might sound a little bit longer. But here we go. Go on, ask your questions. Oh, you did, Zephyr. Did she manage to get the membership? It's all building. It's all build. I'll keep telling you, this is your channel. It's for you. You will get to influence what goes on in the media. Membership button only available on a desktop or laptop. Dang it. What if the UK bans social media? What do us Brits do to stay in touch? This is why I'm trying to build this channel. Because we need the community, and we will find a way, whether that's like going on Substack, like doing some kind of a Reddit. I don't think they will ban social media, not in the foreseeable future. I think if they do, then you won't even, I mean, it'll be so bad that this is the last thing that you'll be looking to do. You'll literally be fighting for your life. Oh, John. My 12-year-old son tried coffee for the first time today. It tastes like dirt. I told him it was just ground this morning. Hey, Cheryl. Well, thank you, Cheryl, for joining. What I'm going to do right now is if you got a membership and you re-up your membership while we're live, you're going to get a sparkly line. So let's see. Let's see how many re-up today and say I re-upped. Stephen said, did you ever work with Terence Stamp? No. So it's a long story, but I basically was introduced to him by a family member. And I remember going up to his house. He had there's an arch, not Marble Arch, but there's another arch right in the center of London, Piccadilly Circus. And you kind of have to go up these stairs to get to it. And I went there with a family member of his. And I just remember walking up to his door, and outside he had cases and cases and cases of Evian. I just remember that. And I walked in, and he was like, I mean, he's a very striking looking dude, very lean, shock of white hair, you know, got that kind of like spiked, almost like Christopher Walken hairstyle. And at the time I was at college, but the way I got my way through college was I'd do commercials. And I was just about to go away to do a commercial in Turkey, and I had to have my head measured. And Terence Stamp measured my head. And he said, oh, I've got a measuring tape, hang on, blah, blah, blah. And then I went with him downstairs, and this is so cool. He got these antique boots, and they were like kind of like riding boots, but not. And he said, I've got to go and have these resold. You know, they're 100 years old, blah, blah, blah. And I went down with him as he went to the cobbler, and it was like really kind of amazing that he would come down the stairs and just go out, and there was this like little arcade there. You know, in the UK, arcades are like a little like muses with shops in. And I'll never forget it. And I went with him to the cobbler, and he gave the cobbler the shoes, and the cobbler was like, well, these are amazing shoes, Mr. Stamp. And he was just very, very kind and very sweet. And of course, you know, his brother was the manager of The Who. How impressive is Scott Adkins' martial arts skill in real life? Scott is very, very, very good. And I was introduced to Scott first by the ITF, which is the International Taekwondo Foundation, which is a North Korean organization, by a martial artist called Silvio Simak, who is a very good friend of mine. And he said, you know, this is when Scott was just coming up, and, you know, he'd done a couple of things, but he certainly didn't have the success that he's got now. And I've spoken to Scott, like Scott and I talk, you know, fairly regularly. He's a terrific human being, like a really, really nice guy. And he's a badass. He's genuinely really good. And I've been fortunate because I've worked with Michael J. White, I've worked with Scott, and I've worked with Silvio Simak. And they're all really good. Woodstock just says, Matthew Marsden channel, I purchased a membership with a mobile phone. So there you go. Why don't you have your membership anymore then, Woodstock? Huh? Crockett Coffee, Matthew 20. Does your family prep? Dorothy Devereaux said, no, I do. Like, I have a lot of guns. But we have stores. We have food, obviously. But, you know, when you've got a bunch of kids, that food wouldn't last very long. Dorothy, hold on. Before I go to Dorothy, Mike D says, Matthew, what would you do if Coronation Street asked you to do a reappearance but had to move to the UK? That's a really tough one because I feel like, I mean, Coronation Street isn't what it was when I was in there. I do feel like I haven't finished business there, but there's no way they would hire me because I'm not woke enough for them. They've never, considering I'm one of the only people that have left Coronation Street and gone into other things, like certainly movies, they've never approached me. They've never approached me. And, it has been suggested to them that maybe I should come back for a little stint, and they're not interested. And from what I've understood, this is what people don't get about the industry. Like, I think that it would be a big deal for them if I came back because, I was there, I went to Hollywood and I came back. At least it would give them a little bit of a bump in the ratings. I'd imagine that at least a few people go, I remember Matt from that. Let's see what he's going to do. They haven't bothered. And I don't know. Would I come back? That's really difficult. Because if they could give me a decent arc on the show that would be meaningful for me, then I'd love to come back and spend some time near my family over there. And, who knows? But they're not going to, with the stuff that I'm doing here on YouTube, they'd never have me back. No way. Too controversial. You can say whatever you want about anything else, but if you say anything like, they've just never, you'd think that they would try. I mean, maybe they think that I'm too expensive for them. I don't know. That's a great question, Mike. I think I'll come back just to be around my YouTube peeps over in the UK, but I love it in America, man. The only other thing that would get me to come back to the UK is if they approach me to come up and run for government, that I could some way, shape or form move the needle and build a better relationship with the United States. But, I'm an American citizen, so that would be kind of weird. Dorothy Devereaux in the house. Hold on. There you go. Dorothy Devereaux gives 5 Matthew Mostyn channel memberships. Let's see. So that went to El Catalantano, Caradhuan, Boomer Banzai, Jamie Hawkins, never seen it spelt that way, Wickedoc 207. You all got memberships from the most wonderful, and may I say beautiful, Dorothy Devereaux. And Dorothy, you get the sparkly line. Yes, you do. First person today to give memberships or do super chats or anything like that, you get it. So, and you know what? I'm going to give you this because you deserve the sparkle. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you. If you got a membership, Mike D, tell them what do they do. You got to re-up your membership. I'm going to push people on this right now. Have you ever filmed anything in West Virginia? No, I've actually never been to West Virginia. I'd like to go. John B, what do you call it when your coffee maker tells you a joke? Brew, ha, ha. No questions. You guys are being very, very respectful. I'm looking down. Come on. All right, here's one from Lisa Perch. How do you as a Christian be able to forgive the impossible, which would destroy everything you thought you believed in with seeing justice done? I'm not entirely sure of the question. There's a lot there. How are you supposed to forgive the impossible? What does that mean? What does it mean by forgiving the impossible? For most people, the things that's the whole thing about forgiveness. It's not meant to be easy. What is impossible? Forgiving isn't to do with seeing justice done. You have to understand that justice is ultimately delivered by God. And people who think that they're kind of escaping it, they're not escaping it, especially if they don't repent. And what I would say is this is everybody needs forgiveness. Everybody needs forgiveness. You have hurt someone in your life and you need their forgiveness. And how can, the way I just look at it is like, you know, you have to forgive yourself for certain things as well. People aren't very good at doing that. But you really do need to forgive yourself and you need to forgive other people. It's not meant to be easy, and it's a discipline. You have to do it in your head. It doesn't mean you feel it in your heart. Excuse my neck. Oh, I'm so sorry, Woodstock, about that. That's horrible. That's where I've seen you face Matthew, Coronation Street, a Canadian favourite Sunday morning hangovers. Yes. Yeah, I drink so much coffee. I can't tell you. Like, oh, I missed 2 of your questions. Can you give them me again, please, Courtney? My apologies. Sorry, I'm catching up, guys. I know. Joan Lovelace in the house. Yeah, I know, Woodstock. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that you lost your your home and your job. You'll bounce back, brother. You'll bounce back. Joan, you get the line, the sparkly line. Let me go back, see if I can get Courtney's question is. I missed 2 of my questions. All right, I'm going back. I'm trying to find question. All right, if you had to listen to only one album or song for the rest of your life, that is a great question. One album. That's really difficult. Probably Thriller by Michael Jackson, because every single song is great on that album. Every single song is. And I was doing some carpentry recently, and I had that on repeat, and it went round, and I loved every single one of them, and I played that to death when I was a kid. One song, I think, Ain't Nobody by Shaka Khan. Ain't Nobody by Shaka Khan is just a brilliant song. So there's one of them, Courtney. I'm looking for the other one. I think most people would, most people like that album, right? Thriller. Ooh, okay. What's the favorite movie you were in? That's hard as well. I mean, I think the 2 standout movies that I've done, probably Rambo and Black Hawk Down. The best movie's probably Black Hawk Down, or overall, because it won 2 Oscars. It's a great film, and Rambo, because it's a great movie. It's probably the second best movie in the franchise, and you're a part of something that is legendary. Are you going to be on season 4 of Reacher? Do you know which book they're going to use? No, I don't think so. They haven't reached out to me. Reacher, they haven't reached out to me. If the character's in the book, they'll use me, probably. But if the character's not in the book, they won't. So, I'm just happy that I did the first one. That was a lot of fun. It's funny because I really put weight on for that role because, I was trying to bulk up. But, that was the role where I looked and I was kind of like, dude, you're looking a little bit chubster right there, right? You need to lean down a little bit. So, I leaned down. But, I probably wouldn't have got it if I was the size that I am now. Personal question. Have you and your wife finished having children? Are you going for a baker's dozen? We're open to life. So If a baby comes along, a baby comes along. We're very, we love kids. You know, people will, you know, like vacations and cars, and we just love kids. We love having kids. Have I worked with or for Mel Gibson? No, I would love to work with Mel Gibson. I'd love to go and do The Resurrection, but who knows? He's just like, he's not using a casting director. Apparently, he's just going out to people and asking them to do it. So, you know, we'll see. I think they start shooting in October. But again, though, it's very difficult to see where I would have a role in that because, you know, I'm not Middle Eastern looking, you know. So, yeah, there you go. Any other questions? Come on, get them in. Get them in. Any predictions? You guys are very shy today. You know, it's so funny. I literally just looked at my phone and my mom was calling me. How funny is that? So I'll speak to her in a little bit. Will you be voting for Brandon Herrera for Congress? I love Brandon. Brandon's a great guy. He's a friend of mine. Of course. He should have been ATF director, but, you know. All right, guys, last 5 minutes. Come on, get your questions in. Get your questions in. You got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes, Dougie Fresh around. Have you ever been on set that was a disaster? Not really. No. Not really. I've never been on a set that's been a disaster. I mean, you know, certain elements can go wrong or whatever, but not really. What has been your favorite vacation spot? I have to say that I really love Florida because you have like kind of the Caribbean thing, but it's in America. I really love that. I mean, even when I went down to the beach with my sister a couple of weeks ago, it was just spectacular. Fiji was very special, but I was shooting over there. But that was spectacularly beautiful there. We're in the jungle. So Fiji was pretty great. What time is live tomorrow? It is midday. It's 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. What's for dinner? I don't know. I actually had a late breakfast today for lunch. I guess that makes it a lunch, which was bacon, eggs, and beans. And it was fantabulous. What is for dinner? I don't know because we've got to go to this event. And I think there's going to be like wine and cheese there. So I'm going to have that. And then we're meeting some of our friends later on who are in from California. So I don't know. Can't they paint you to look Middle Eastern? Are you saying blackface, Joan? Of course not. What's the best amendment? The first is probably the best amendment. But you can't have the first without the second. So, you know, it's like joint first. Not joint First Amendment, joint Best Amendment is first and second. Did you say you once met Trump? What were the circumstances? So I got invited. I didn't get invited. Let me take this back. There was a meeting arranged with myself and Matt Peterson, two other people, to go and meet with Trump for an hour. And we went to Trump Tower. And it was really kind of strange, you know, like we go there and then we go up and we sit and we chatted with Trump for an hour in Trump Tower. It was amazing, and he was amazing, very courteous. I've told you before, for those of you that don't know, I remember like coming out of the elevators in his penthouse, because that's where his office is, right at the very top, and the most beautiful woman came over to take us in to meet him, and she was like 5'11", absolute killer. And I was like, of course, right? Of course. Crazy Cook says, what's your favorite food? I love sushi. If you'd say to me you can only eat one thing for the rest of your life, it would be sushi. I love sushi. Bloody expensive tastes. Have you ever heard of Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, destroying Canada? I saw him when he was elected. Loser. Do you ever drink Starbucks? Rarely. Like very rarely. Like sometimes I'll go and meet someone there and then I'll drink it. Best band, the Beatles. Or is it between those? Sweet Slade, Mart, T-Rex for me. I like Slade. Obviously, they're from my hometown. Do you keep in contact with any cast of Black Hawk Down? I used to. I saw Eric Bana after we did Black Hawk Down. He went and did Troy. They were in Malta, and so his wife and kids came round to my in-laws' house and played in the pool. And I used to speak to Tim quite a bit. I used to speak to Jason Isaacs quite a bit, but he's a lovely fella, but we just completely disagree politically, and he unfollowed me on Twitter. So I was like, okay, whatever. Still love him, still a great guy. Just we're polar opposites politics, which I don't think is a reason to not be friends, but I still love him and I still think he's a great guy. And he's a terrific actor. Ian Virgo, I still keep in contact with. I did reach out. I spoke to Charlie, who played Smith in the movie. I bumped into Orlando Bloom like twice very soon after we finished Black Hawk Down. Once, obviously, I saw him at the premiere of Pirates of the Caribbean, and then I bumped into him in the Hollywood Hills randomly with Enrico Murciano. That's about it, I think. I've actually, it looks like I'm going to see Glenn Morshower again. Anyway. Yeah, Thriller's great. I can't believe you haven't mentioned West Brom. I guess I have now. Looking for these questions. What's the age of your children, youngest to oldest? Youngest 2, oldest 26. I can't believe I can say that I've got a 26-year-old. Crazy Cook saying how Sarah Gonzalez always pronounces my name. Yeah, Trump is great. Like all the stuff that they're saying about he's hated, it's absolutely not true. Can you shout out my buddy Brian Wilfong? He loved you in Rambo and Black Hawk Down. It would make his day. Shout out to Brian. There you go. I hope it's made your day. Would you ever travel to Australia? Do you know what? I always wanted to go to Australia, Jesse. The lockdowns really worried me about Australia. But yeah, I'd love to go to Australia. Absolutely love to. Nick asked me, did you do your invitation to him? I did not. Dorothy Devereaux is on her way out. Bye, Dorothy. We love you. We love you. What was Russell Mulcahy like as a person? A big fan of it. He was great. I was really looking. I'm a massive fan of Highlander, so I was really looking forward to meeting him and working with him, and he was lovely. He was a really, really nice guy. And I asked him a lot about the commercials and the music videos he did, because he did all Duran Duran's videos and all Queen's videos. Christy Hans, this is a really good question. Do you also like tea, Matthew? I have to say that no. I don't like tea anymore. I'll have a chamomile tea or whatever to get to sleep, but no. Is Trump 6 feet tall? Yeah. He's big. He's probably bigger than that, actually. He's probably taller than that. He seemed very big to me. Do I have a favorite Hollywood star? That's a really difficult question. I mean, like favorite as in someone that I look up to. Probably what's his name? Jimmy Stewart. As far as acting is concerned, Brando was so great when he was younger, like unbelievably great. Daniel Day-Lewis is the greatest actor of all time, in my opinion. And I really like Tony Hopkins. I think that's it. Yeah, those are the people I like. What kind of sushi? I like all of it. I like, I do like sashimi, especially like toro is my real favorite. I do like eel as well. Really like eel. In fact, I had it last week. I went to sushi with my daughter, my son and daughter, because my son was going back to college and my daughter was it was my daughter's birthday. She was 16, so we took them out. Are there any other historical military events you'd like to make a film about? Where do I start? I have so many. I'd love to make a movie about, oh my gosh, why am I brain farting on his name now? It's Green Beret. Roy Benavidez. I'd love to do something about Roy Benavidez. I'd love to do something about Ord Wingate. Ord Wingate's story is really interesting if you listen to that. If you go and look that up. Carlos Hathcock would be great. White Feather. I could just go on and on and on and on. I like Jeremy. What's his name? Jeremy Clarkson does a whole video on this amazing raid that the Brits did in the Second World War. It's unbelievable. That'd be a great movie. There are so many, right? There's so many great military things. But firstly, I want to do the al-Baghdadi raid because the raid that Delta Force did on al-Baghdadi is one of the greatest raids of all time. Are there any historical military commanders that you'd like to play? Monty, Paddy Mayne, Admiral Nelson, Eric Haney. Haney would be great. I think I'm too old now, to be honest. I mean, obviously later on in their lives, yeah. Paddy Mayne would be great as well. That's a really fantastic person. David Sterling would be great. There's a lot. What do I think about Trump flying that huge jet over Putin's head? Yeah, it was great. I mean, look, I actually think that I might be controversial. I don't think Russia is our real enemy. I don't. I think that we can unite with them. And I think that we can forge an alliance with them. I don't know why we don't look at that. Because you can't sit there for 100 years and not recognize that things have changed over there. All right, Ryan Cross, have a great day. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see Russia as the enemy. I don't. I think that I think Putin is looks out for his people. Is he brutal? Yeah. So? Do I know when Protocol 7 is getting an international release? I do not. Hey, JMC, yeah, I should play King Arthur, right? That'd be a great role to play. If only there was a conservative company that was making a King Arthur series. I thought I heard an Archer there. Shall I call him in before the end? Archer! He's sitting at the front door, I think. Archer! Come and say hello. Come here. Come here. Archer. He's up. He's about to come in. Hold on. I'm going to let... Oh, he opens the door. Can you hear that? Here he is. Come and say hello to the people. Come and say hello to the people. Oh, I love him. Yes, I do. You push me back too far. Oh. Say hello. Go on. Look at the camera. What's that? What's that? He's a good boy. Look, he wants to eat the mic. Don't you dare eat that mic. Give me a kiss. Oh, a big kiss. Give me a kiss. He's a good boy. Who doesn't love Archer? Who doesn't love Archer? Oh. It's funny because someone said, oh, this is showing dominance. It's actually not showing dominance. What he's doing is he's just giving me love. He's giving me love the way he likes to do it. He likes to put his hands on my shoulders and love me. I don't allow it all the time But how can you not love him? He's got the best temperament, like the most amazing temperament as a dog. Really is amazing. So, all right, guys, like, subscribe, get your memberships, re-up your memberships. I didn't see anyone re-up their membership on this last thing. I'm just saying. Didn't see anyone re-up their membership. I'll see you tomorrow at 12. And remember, not all actors are like this, I promise. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.